Yes, it's Pew and I'll be turning this thing in this box into an actual thing. But before I do that, I want to tell you how I even got into this situation. Everybody knows that mechs are basically a big thing with anime and manga, and the existence of them can be traced back in the late 50s with series like Astro Boy and Tetsujin 28 Go, and then the golden era of mechs came in 1979 with Mobile Suit Gundam. But to be honest, I never really cared about mecha anime, but one integral mecha anime changed my life forever: Evangelion. That was when my love for mechs truly started, and then around the same time I also saw Gunpla videos in my recommendations at YouTube. I thought the concept of building popular mechs out of model kits was really fun, and to my surprise, they were not only Gundam mechs, but they also had model kits of various franchises including Evangelion. So I started searching and I found nothing I liked. Apparently they don't have entry grade kits, which is basically the grade for beginners and requires no tools, so I went and found other EG kits I seem to like, and now I had two targets, Kirby and Pac-Man, which is two other characters from different franchises that I like too, and they were also sold out. I also want to point out this, but after the kit I bought the Kirby entry grade kit went back up in stock, and now I'm crying. I really want that so bad. While searching them, I found this weird rabbit hole of Gunpla scalpers who sells relatively cheap kits at like double the price, and I ignored them, as you should too. But now, out of options, I decide to find the only remaining entry grade option: this thing. And yes, this is from Gundam, and I will try to unwrap it first. With some scissors, of course. And then opening up the box, we get trays of parts that are conveniently labeled by letters, numbers, and colors to avoid some confusion, and we have this instruction manual that has, well, instructions. So fortunately, since this is entry grade, I don't need tool, paint, or decals. Very nice. So now we begin with building the head, and I'm really surprised so far about how insanely small these pieces are. They're tiny compared to my fingers, and they were also really complex, especially because of their size. The clever way this kit avoids any painting or serifs is by making separate models for each color instead, as you can see here. Then I realized something while I clipped this helmet. To my imagination, it really looked like it would fit with a Lego minifig, and so I ended up testing it by grabbing one, and as you can see, it's a bit smaller. Maybe it'll fit in a baby minifig's head though, but I don't have any of those here. Now this Stormtrooper looks very angry, so I'm gonna put him away now. I also noticed some chunk of plastic left in my helmet, so I tried to sand it down and basically disappeared. And after just a few small pieces, you now have completed this helmet, and I know this is literally the first part, but it looks so cool already, and my hopes are up for the rest of the build. Now we're going to make the torso, and it has a really interesting yell mode, and off camera I also got this blue chest piece that was also supposed to attach it, but disaster struck. I sanded it and then I left some scratch marks. I decided to discard the sander. Anyways, now I got this piece with a ball joint for some reason, and you will see why later. It's because the torso has blue ball joints in the back, and these red parts are what give the lower part of the mech more flexibility, and I say this design was very clever. And now we add some joints too for the hips, arms, and neck. And I also attached this back part of torso, which has missiles, I believe. And that ends the torso parts, because now we're building arms. The building process of these were very straightforward, and the only interesting part I would point out was attaching these brackets for the elbows and ensure that the arms won't pop out. Moving on though, it's time for the hips, which is centered around this red piece that has 3 joints. Then I attach this yellow piece which has more joints where I'll be putting some type of hip armor later. But the instructions told me to just put this white piece for now and make the legs. These shoes really look awesome. Gundam drip. And now I can proceed with making the legs. Which, fun fact, you make 2 of them. Now I will attach them to the back of the hips joints and add some hip pads on the sides, but when I tried to attach them, though, I realized something was wrong. Not only was the hip facing at the wrong side, but it was also unfinished in the back, so I detached some parts. Get the parts I missed back. Again, attach them. And finally, now the hips and legs are complete. Now all that's left is building the weapons, which has a gun and a comically large scope, and then the more iconic shield this mech has. And now my Gundam is complete. Almost. Forgot the shoulder pads, whoops. Now it's actually complete. So overall, what did I think about this entry grade Gunpla model kit? Well, to put it simply, very nice. Despite me having several issues when building due to me missing a few steps in the instructions and the scratching part, the rest of the building process was really fun, and I'm still surprised at how small some of these pieces are and how they all end up working together like some other specific building based product. I was also impressed at how much articulation this kit has, especially when compared to other mechs I have at home that can barely do any poses except stand and move its arms around when compared to this kit that has 100 times more posing. And it's very clear who the winner is. It's so good at making poses, in fact, that I don't think you even need to buy the optional stand if you want to just make it stand around in your display. And side note, after building this, I took a massive photo shoot of this mech with a bunch of photos, and I had so much fun doing that. But of course, since that's over now, I will finally remove this Mario slap sheet in my display and replace it with this Gundam. Oh no!